Hello and welcome to Learn How To. This is the site where you can try and learn and practice how to draw. We have already gone through a range of drawing techniques so far, looking at isometric through to how to render your objects and tone them and give them effects such as real materials like wood, metal, plastic. And this little exercise is really to start to develop some more complex skills on products or surfaces using still the isometric principle. I'm still going to be using the grid paper today, and this is going to show you how to produce lettering. There are many different styles of lettering you can use, but I'm just going to go for some simple block capitals for today to keep it simple. And what I've done, I've just drawn an isometric block. And the first starting point really is to give yourself some guidelines to work within and remembering those isometric principles. So with letters, let's say for example I was doing a letter L, we need to remember that the vertical part of the letter that goes up and down stays vertical on these lines here that come down, okay? And anything that goes off in the opposite direction, depending on what surface of the object you're drawing, will follow the isometric grid lines underneath. So, for example, if I was doing a letter L on this surface, okay, I would draw my vertical line down, like I've just done there, followed by the bottom part of the L going along the other grid lines like so. So let's, for example, this site's called Learn How To. Let's do the word learn. Leave a bit of a space. Again for the E, it will be vertical, the vertical part of the E, and then the parts of the E that go off to the right, following along those grid lines. Let's do top and bottom, 3 triangles. And I'm just going to go off the grid slightly there just to keep that in the middle, like so. Okay, so what I recommend is that you first of all mark out 2 parallel guidelines like I've done here, which will then allow you to get the tops and the bottoms of your letters equal, the same. And I've done the same, I've just done another row underneath for how to. So it's going to be learn how to. Okay, so I am going to make these letters blocky on this one. Okay, so it's like block capitals, and I'm going to use the grid to make each letter 1 triangle in width. Okay, so first of all then, starting with the L, there's my top of my guideline and my bottom of my guideline. I've marked out the vertical. Any lines or parts of the letters that go off in this direction, we use the grid lines. So I've made that L shape 3 that way. Now we're going to come up vertically for the corner. Across the top, we're going to go across 1 as well, keeping them all 1. Again, this side of the vertical comes down. And bringing that in like so. So there's my L shape done. Moving on to my E, leaving myself a space of 1. Think about your spacing as well. I mean, if you're doing something more accurate or more complex, you may wish to find the centre of where you're going to do your letters and then space your letters out either side of that centre line, and just decide on how much space you're going to leave between each letter as well, just so that you can fit it around whatever it is you're doing. Okay, so vertical side of the E, and now the horizontal parts of the letter. Let's keep them 3 again. The top and the bottom first, using my parallel guidelines to help. Bringing the tails down. And I've deliberately left myself 5 triangles because I knew I was going to be doing block lettering for this. So that then gives me an equal space for when I want to put the middle part of the E in, or any other letter that I might be doing. So again, horizontal parts of the letters going out, vertical parts up and down. Okay, there's my E. Now with the A, you could come off the isometric principle here and do an A that's slightly angled. You could do it that way, or you could keep your A so that it was square, like that, which is the easier way of doing it. Okay, so I will show you the easy way. As we're just beginning. So 3 for the other part of the A. Put in the top. And let's just think about this. So if we go 2 up, that'll leave us a space for 1 in the middle, for the middle of the 8. Leave a gap. Bring it the side. Like so. Okay, see it's starting to come together. L-E-A. Now we need an R. Let's keep it 3. Now for the R, we are going to have to come off the isometric a little bit here. But I do want to keep it within the same width as the letter. Oops. Stop that. So I'm going to bring it out to that same vertical line I've got there. Keep it 1 wide for all the other parts. And then I just need to try and keep this parallel. So if you put the bottom in first along the grid line, then you can connect that point up with that point accurately, which should be parallel to the one you've just done there. Okay, and like the A, we're going to have 1 triangle width for that part. Okay, 1 more letter. I've got an N next, and so we'll do that vertical. Going to leave a space of 3 again on the vertical, and then bring in this. And then does that. So we're going to go up to 1 there. Now we need to come down on an angle to leave ourselves 1 here. 1 in at the top. And then here we obviously want to try and make it as parallel as possible. So it may be that it will end in a different position. So it's actually 2, roughly 2 up here to come in line with this. Okay, so there's my N. Okay, moving down now, we're going to put the how to on the bottom row. Let's come in a little bit with the letters. There's less to do. Let's start here. The end of the L. Okay, so you can see I've got 2 more guidelines to help me. And again, remember, if you've left yourself 3 here, I've left 3 triangles per letter. Make sure you keep that uniform all the way throughout. Keep it the same. Don't have some narrow and some wide because it will look strange. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. The side of the H. Put in the tops and bottoms. And remembering I had a gap in the middle, so I'll come down 2 on each side. And we're not drawing these 3-dimensionally, we're just making them stay flat, so we don't need to worry about taking anything back. So that's the H. Keep the O nice and simple. verticals in the middle for the O. Put the tops and bottoms in. Now, this letter's going to be quite tricky. Again, we could slope it, but that's going off the isometric principle too much. So if we keep the vertical sides completely vertical, so start here. But because we've got the V in the middle of the W, we may want to make this one slightly wider than 3. So I'll make this one 5, just so I've got enough space to complete the W bit in the middle, the V shape. So come in one for those, and we'll get this bit down first. So we want to come down short of 1. Okay, and put in, definitely going to be 2. Okay, so what I've done here, I've simplified it. It's not an actual V shape, but to represent the V, I've kept it square by basically making it look like an E line down on its side. That's a lot easier than coming off the grid and trying to match a V up. Okay, and 2 more letters to go. We have a T. Got space between the words here, so let's leave 2 triangles for that. Pop in the top of the T, leaving 1 in the middle, down to our guideline at the bottom. There's our T, and our last letter is our O. Which we've already done. So this one's just for practice. And there you have it. So providing you remember which way you're going, remember any verticals, stay on those vertical grid lines, and anything going off in this direction to the right, if you're on this surface of an object, it will go that way. So let's say, for example, we were doing something on this surface, going in the opposite direction, then I'll just do a quick block here. Pretty much exactly the same, just that you got to remember you're going in the other direction. So if I was going to write learn again, start with your guidelines, set yourself your distances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then away you go again. So remember, starting again with the vertical part of the letter, it's just facing the opposite way this time. So we start here, vertical, left 3 for the other one, here, up 1, into, up 3, and put the top in on the guideline, like so. Space, vertical part of the E, 3, this one for the middle part, put in the top, and then join up. And there you have it. So that's if you were going in the opposite direction. If you were doing it on the top, depending on what angle you've got your surface, this is where the vertical part of the letter now, because it's lying down on its side flat, it would go again in a different direction. So if we were doing, let's say, a top surface of a block, for example, it might be a mobile phone lying down flat. Let's draw a flat box here. Do the whole thing just. Okay, so let's say that this was sort of our mobile phone line flat and we could see some writing running this way. Again, put your guidelines in where you want to put the writing. Might be a logo, you're trying to do some lettering or title. I'll keep it 5. And imagine that it's lying flat. You're looking down onto the object this time. Okay, so we have to remember which way our letters would go. So we haven't got any vertical lines this time. Everything's going off in this 30-degree angle, left or right. So if our letters are running this way, our L would be here. And you'd be counting along your guideline. 1, 2, 3. And using the angled lines this time to follow. Same again, space, keeping it on that same angle, the same angled grid line. 3. Miss 1. And then fill in the other parts of the E, so anything running off to the right follows those lines. Anything going up or down follows the other 30-degree angle. Okay, there you have it then. So tried to teach you there how to write simple lettering, block lettering on different surfaces in isometric, using, again, remember to use your parallel lines, and that helps you then space out your letters to the way that you want them. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that for today. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.